But we begin with the tropics. Our weather team tracking a system that could impact the Houston area this week. Hello, everyone. I'm Ron Trevino. Welcome to our webcast. Let's get right to Blake Matthews for the very latest on that new tropical threat. Blake.
That's right. Potential tropical cyclone number 26 was designated about an hour ago. I want to emphasize there is not a direct threat to the Houston area at this time. However, it could be a rather significant threat for our friends just to the east in Louisiana, and that is very close to the Texas coast, which is why we're going to want to watch this very carefully. So we've got Gamma. I don't think Gamma is going to be an issue for the Texas coast, but number 26 is what could become Hurricane Delta over the course of the next couple of days. So there it is, a rather diffuse area of thunderstorms at this time, and this is the current forecast according to the National Hurricane Center, taking this up towards southeast Louisiana as a Category 2 hurricane with winds of 100 miles an hour. Category 3 begins at 111. So you'll notice that even the far western periphery of the cone is right at the Texas state line. So the entire cone in its entirety is to the east of Houston. But again, remember, everywhere inside the cone does stand the same chance of being hit. So if it were to move off toward the western side of the cone, it would put some of East Texas in the path of the eye. So we're going to continue to watch this very carefully. Pretty unusual to get a storm this far west this late in the season, but not impossible. It did happen back in October of 1989 with Hurricane Jerry. But all of the computer models, at least right now, do take the system more towards the northwest Gulf before turning hard to the north and to the northeast, thanks in part to a ridge of high pressure building across the eastern states. So here's how it all pans out. You've got Gamma right there, and you've got what is expected to be Tropical Storm Delta as we get into Monday. Now, a front that came through today reinforcing our nice weather will stall out in the central Gulf of Mexico and fade away, allowing high pressure to build into our region. Now, remember, the flow around high pressure is clockwise, and that is expected to pick up what is to be Delta and push it more towards Louisiana. In response to that, we should get a northerly flow, bringing in dry conditions and keeping our weather very nice here all the way through the upcoming weekend. So to emphasize at this time, we are not looking for big impacts here along the upper Texas coast, but any deviation in that track further to the west would obviously cause a bigger concern for us here in the Houston area. So there is a look at Gamma. You can see a big swath of moisture continuing to pull across the state of Florida at this time and continuing to rain, but the system itself is pushing off to the west and southwest. Now, it may turn back to the north as that ridge that will eventually steer Delta will build in. But I think by the time it begins to pull north, there's not going to be much left of it. So I don't think that this is going to be a system that we're going to have to worry about. In fact, already looking like a sheared mess this afternoon. But here locally, not much going on. Nice and clear here across the state of Texas. In fact, you see just a few clouds pushing on through the Houston area. So that's going to continue to push on through. High pressure builds into our forecast and shaping up to be a nice couple of days.
All right, a final check of the weather now from Blake.
Let's take a look here at the next 7 days, Ron. I really, despite all the tropical activity in the Gulf of Mexico, I really think it's going to be a fairly nice next 7 days. In fact, there's no rain chances anywhere on the 7 day, but you'll notice temperatures do respond as the tropical systems push towards the Gulf Coast. Temperatures move up to near 90 degrees. So again, that's thanks in part to subsidence on the outside of these hurricanes. As they get close or past to our east, the air is sinking and therefore it warms, and that's why we could see temperatures back up to 90. So while we are not quite done with the 90s yet, we are very, very close. Of course, we'll continue to keep a very close eye on what is expected to be a healthy hurricane Delta as we get into Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, again passing mainly to our east. That is the forecast right now, leaving us mostly sunny and dry with temperatures near 90. Of course, that forecast is subject to change, and we'll keep you updated on it.
All right, we'll have to watch that all week. Thank you so much, Blake. That's going to do it for us for now. For all the good folks here at KHOU, I'm Ron Trevino. We'll be back on TV tonight around 10:30.